Welcome to FailCraft, the podcast where we dive into the messy, real side of success and explore how setbacks become the stepping stones to growth and clarity. Today's guest is Rahul Karan Sharma, a leadership strategist, Forbes Coaches Council member, and the host of the Climb podcast. With over 2 decades of experience in corporate America, he, he's now dedicated to helping professionals and leaders navigate what he calls the journey from uncertainty to unshakable confidence, from burnout to breakthrough. He's the creator of the Climb framework, a system designed to help leaders cultivate the right mindset, leverage their strengths, and build a real legacy. He's here to talk about why so many leaders get stuck and the hard won lessons that help them get unstuck. So, Rahul, it's a pleasure to have you on Fieldcraft. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to share my learnings with your audience, Ezekiel. And I really appreciate you giving me an opportunity to raise my voice, to share my wisdom.
All right. So, let's dive in. Your work is about guiding leaders from uncertainty and burnout to breakthrough. So, can you take us back to a time in your own 20-year corporate journey? So, was there a time you felt that uncertainty or burnout you now teach leaders to break out from today?
Sure. So it would be unfair to say that I never had a burnout. I never had a uncertainty. We all live through uncertainty. We all have burnout in different situations. And for me, this happened when I was working for a group where I was not giving the true potential that I have. I was not able to unleash my true potential. And when that was happening, I was not enjoying what I was doing. I was not seeing direction. I was not seeing a sense of purpose. And though I was working for those 8 to 10 hours, I was putting my best. So don't get me wrong. I was still showing my A game, still giving my best effort, but things were not working out. I was not seeing the result that I used to see. And very late in that journey of that small career that I have working with that group, I realized that this was not the sweet spot of me. What work I was doing it, but that was not something that was coming naturally to me. And it led to a situation where I had doubts within my own self. I had those uncertainties that is the career that I have built so far, hard-earned career, will still go alive, or will I have to take something different route? So to to summarize, that uncertainty, those self-doubt, all those burnout was more to do because I was not doing the work that was coming naturally to me. I was doing the job, but it was not coming naturally to me. So how I had to come out from that stage is finding a role by speaking with my leaders to those aspects that comes naturally to me, helping people, coaching, sharing my knowledge. That comes very, very natural to me. I'm known in my personal circle, I'm known as a person who is a giver, a person who is very determined, person who has a very strong willpower. So I wanted to move from what I was doing to something that I really enjoy. So that job does not remain as a job, it becomes part of life. What helped me? Talking to my seniors, talking to my coach, and two, talking to my own inner self, which is knowing that what I'm doing was not my sweet spot. That was a bigger discovery for me. And then taking the next steps, which is talking to the leaders and doing what I used to love, what I naturally enjoy. And that is how I was able to make things up for me.
All right. So, Rahul, these uncertainty and burnout, how did it actually feel like for you? Was it a specific moment or a slow build up?
So those uncertainty burnout was, I was getting more irritated. Uh, I was not mentally present with my loved ones. And that frustration of work was coming out to the people who cares most about us. And that is a very unfortunate part of us as leaders, that what we do at work automatically comes at home. And very late in my career, I realized that's not a good thing. But when I was in my mid career, I was not that knowledgeable enough, that wise enough not to take the work stress home. How it was happening, it was more internal feeling because performance was not coming. I already had set some standard for my own self, that this is what I'm expected to do. I'm going to ace this. I'm going to get this result. I'm a go getter. But when those things were not happening, I was not thinking that this is not the sweet spot for me. I was thinking that, man, I'm not doing good. I'm not giving my best. My confidence level started to shake down. That is when I had to have a talk with my own self. Because another thing, Ezekiel, when we are going through uncertainty, when we are going through some turmoil, there is no external help that will really help you. It is all about internal. It has to be the inside out approach.
Mm.
Because people resist change, as what we have learned. But another thing I will tell you, people also get excited when it comes to change. We get excited when we are going for a vacation, when we are going to buy a new car, when we are buying a new house, when we are going to a new restaurant. But the statistics, the studies from Harvard or Wharton or business.com, we hear or we say that people resist change. What I learned, that people don't resist change, people resist change when they are told to change. But when the change is coming from within, we are very excited. So that was that pivotal moment for me, was that I need to bring that change from inside me. I had to had that call within myself that, hey, I need to pivot. I need to switch over what I'm doing. I need to find something else. But the feeling, as you mentioned, the feeling was not that it very great. The feeling was not very excited. The feeling was you are not worth it. Whatever you have done so far is all gone for a toss. So that's not that great feeling. But yes, I was able to overcome those feelings by having my conversation to my own self. That was the whole thought process.
All right, all right. So, Rahul, can you tell us about what you call the climb framework?
Sure, sure. So our climb framework is based on two pillars, Ezekiel. One is collaboration, and second is confidence. And in my 2 decades of experience, I have noticed that if someone is confident in what they are doing, and they are able to collaborate with others at workplace, sky is also not the limit for them. They will just go with in flying colors. And so the climb framework is basically a confident leader framework. So as I said, two components: confidence and collaboration. And then there are 4 stages that I have noticed that all leaders go through. And these stages are, when they are new to an organization or when they are new to the role, they are in that first stage, which I call it as an invisible stage. And from invisible stage, they move to the achiever stage. In a achiever stage, so basically invisible stage is when no one wants you to be there. If you are not at work, no one will remember you.
Hmm.
No one is asking you for your input. No one is asking you to calibrate with you. So that is when you are having that feeling of invisible. From that stage, you move to the next stage, which is achiever. Sorry, the next stage is potential. What happens in this stage is your organization or your leader is seeing that potential in you. You are getting the performance, you are performing at the expectation, but still your leadership is not seeing you as a true leader. you are still seen as an individual contributor. You have the potential, but it is not being visible to others. So you are at that potential stage. Now, the next stage is the achiever. The achiever stage is when you have already walk up to that corner office. You are the talk of the town. You are always those top three award winners. You are always making that bonuses that you always strive for. But the challenge happen here is that you are so much after this bonus, this award, this limelight, that you lose the sense of purpose. You lose the sense of direction. That is the problem that I see people with on that achiever stage. But if you are able to navigate from those issues, then you move to the next stage, which is an influencer. This is a stage where the CEO calls you that, hey, Ezekiel, we are launching this new product. What are your thoughts? Which market should we go into? Hey, Ezekiel, we have hired this new leader. Can you walk him through a day in life of yours so that they can learn from you? You become that leader that everyone wants to learn from you. You become that leader that everyone is influential with you. So these are the four stages. Now, my climb framework, Ezekiel, is basically an acronym, CLIMB. So when you are in invisible stage, the C stands for cultivate your mindset. So for you to move from invisible stage to potential, you need to cultivate the right mindset.
Mm.
To move from potential stage to achiever stage, you need to, the L is leverage your strength. Instead of focusing on what others are doing, how others are doing, you should focus on leveraging your strength. Then the next stage is, as I mentioned earlier, is achiever. So move from achiever stage to your influencer stage. You need to focus on the I of the climb framework, which is integrate your purpose and vision. You need to know why are you doing what you're doing. Are you becoming a leader for that corner office? Are you becoming a leader to fly to different cities and then go for those happy hours? Or you are becoming a leader to really make an impact on people? You are becoming a leader to really help others grow. So that is how you want to integrate your purpose and vision. And then when you are in influential stage, the two things, the M and B is you need to magnify your impact, and the B is you need to build your legacy. So if you are an influencer stage, does not mean that you will remain there forever. You change a new organization, you're again back to invisible mode. A new leader come in, you're again back to invisible mode. So for you to sustain yourself to be in that influencer mode, you need to continue to build your legacy and you need to continue to magnify your impact. I know I took a little bit more time, but I wanted to do justification with that climb framework. So this is in nutshell, Ezekiel, is our climb framework.
Okay, that was indeed a fantastic response there, Rahul. So your climb framework starts with C for cultivate your mindset. So how did your own mindset have to shift first to get you out of that setback?
So as I have shared earlier that I'm a very person with a very high willpower. And the thought process that is always in my mind is where there is a will, there is a way.
Mm,
So I believe that if you want to achieve something, you can achieve. There is nothing which is I call as impossible. The word impossible also talks about I am possible. So the mindset that I need to cultivate, or I cultivated back then, that I'm here to do something bigger. I'm here not to go into that self pity mode. I'm not here to get dissatisfied. I'm here to do something big. And when I cultivated that mindset, and as you have heard this phrase that when the student is ready, the teacher appear. So
yeah.
when I was having those thought process, those positive thought processes, a teacher appear, a teacher in the name of Les Brown. I had a pleasure to meet with him in 2014, attended his workshop, and that really changed the trajectory of my life. That really helped me in knowing what you can do with your experience, how you can help people to do better in their life based on your experience. The mindset that I cultivated was that, hey, just move forward. Don't look back. You move forward, do not give in, and just focus on your strengths. We all have our natural strength, Ezekiel. And that's what I did. I focus on those natural strength of mine, which is a people management work, which is more of a coaching, which is more of a mentoring. So I moved from my role, which I was not enjoying, to the role which comes naturally to me. So that was the mindset I cultivated, man.
All right. All right. So you talk about the silent struggle of first time managers. So how did your own setbacks, as a leader shape your passion for helping new managers who feel overwhelmed and invisible?
So when I was playing the role of a silent or a role of a leader, and before I go there, this is a universal truth, or probably the not so great thing about corporate America is we do not provide leadership training or grooming to people till they actually become a leader. And this I'm saying in probably 80% of the organizations. There are still some great organizations, those 20% of them who really groom their leaders right from day one. But not everyone is that fortunate to be part of that organization. So I learned the lessons of leadership through my leaders, and I was fortunate to have some great leaders who helped me throughout my value chain. But I also made a fair share of my own mistake. And the challenge was that I was not knowing back then that I'm making a mistake. I got to know about those mistakes later on. And when I got to know about those mistakes, it was too late for me to do any repair of the loss of trust. Uh, But what I started working on is I tried to make sure that at least people who were part of my direct report, they do not go through the same thing. And a first time leader, one of the bigger challenge we have is that transition from that individual contributor to a leader. Uh, that transition is hard. That transition is very difficult because still in many organizations, people who are getting promotion to become a leader, they are not done based on their people management skills. They are primarily based on their individual performance. So if they're a great performer, yes, they will become a leader or they will be converted to leader. If you look at the history, the famous teams in our sports, their coaches were never the best players of that team, but they became coaches because they were a good coach from a personality perspective. They had that acumen of getting the work done or getting the best out of people. So I learned it a very hard way. And then today, the way I look at things is I do not focus on teaching them how to become a better leader, how to become a better recruiter, or how to become a better sales manager. Today, my philosophy, my focus is how to become a better person. And as long as you are focusing on becoming a better person, all the other things will fall in place. So I mainly focus on becoming a better person at the moment.
So for the leader or manager listening right now who is deep in that burnout or uncertainty and feels completely stuck. So, what is the first practical step you'd recommend they take?
So that's a great question. And if you are in that stage where you are stuck, you are having that burnout, you do not have clarity, the first step for you, I would recommend, is to know more about yourself, being self aware. And how you can be self aware is my recommendation would be speak with 5 people that you trust the most and ask them, when was the last time you saw me working when I lost track of time? What task was that? That was number one. Number two question I would ask this person to ask with their people whom they trust is, what challenges have you seen me resolving for you or for others that you see me as a very unique person. Now, what will this will do is this will instill the confidence in that person, because when the person is that in that burnout stage, one of the reason that they are in burnout, because maybe they are losing their confidence, they are losing that trust within themselves. So it's important for them to take a step back and make sure that they are prioritizing time for themselves. The other thing I would also recommend is setting the boundaries. Many of us, we lead ourselves to burnout because we do not set boundaries. We say yes to everything that is coming our way. And we do not realize that we have said yes to 7 things, but we only have bandwidth to do 3. And when we do this, when we do not set up boundaries, it really make us helpless, make us do more work, make us do more hours, which eventually leads to burnout. So, in nutshell, there will be these 2 things. One, speaking with 5 people that they trust the most and ask those questions to regain that self confidence, to regain that power that they have. And 2 is to set up the boundaries around themselves to make sure that they are not saying yes to everything that is coming their way.
All right, that was a really, really actionable and insightful response there. Really great piece of advice, I'd say. So, Rahul, after 2 decades in corporate America and now transforming leaders with your own framework, so what does being successful truly mean to you now?
For me, success is not always that you can measure in data, that you can measure in reports. Sometimes the success is also about, are you getting a good sleep? Are you being more happier than before? Success is, are you willing, or are you spending quality time with your loved ones? So these are the things that I define as my success metrics. Probably they may not convert into the dollar value, Ezekiel, but yes, if I am living more happier life. And what is the definition of happier life? I mean, let me bring to that context is, if there have been 10 situations for you in a week, how many situations were you feeling happy? How many situations that where you did it without showing any tantrums, without showing any negativity? If it is 6 or 7 out of those 10s, you are more in a happier mode, which is a win for me. Second, if you are getting this feedback from your family members that you are more physically and mentally present than before, that's a win for me. And number 3, if you are reducing stress from your life, if you are spending more time with your own self, with your own body, going out for those nature walks, focusing on your own health, which is resulting in a good night's sleep, which is resulting in you offering more prayers, which is resulting in the people around you being happy, that is what success that I feel is for myself, and that I am living it. I'm living the dream, my friend.
All right, fantastic one there. So finally, for our listeners who want to connect with you and learn more about the Climb framework or find your podcast, so where is the best place for them to?
Well, the best place for them, Ezekiel, is to go on my website, which is my full name, rahulkaransharma.com. I'm sure you will include in the show notes. People can visit my website. And if they want to connect with me, LinkedIn is the best place. I'm very active on LinkedIn. And before I let you go, I also want you all listeners to put in your comments what has been your biggest takeaway. The top 3 people or first 3 people who will be commenting, they will get a free complimentary copy of my book, Habits for Miracle. And the book page is right there behind me. So if you are the top 3 people who will put it in your comments with your biggest takeaway on the show, you will be receiving a free copy. And then I will work with Ezekiel to get your address. I don't want you to include your address on the comments, but we will work with you on how to ship that book to you.
All right. So, Rahul, this has been a really insightful conversation, and
Mhm.
I'm indeed excited and honored to have you on the show today. So, thank you very much for showing up.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I do hope that our listeners or people watching us on YouTube get at least one takeaway from our episode today. Thank you. God bless.